Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a session on Winning Mondays. Today is our last Winning Mondays for the year 2021. We are taking a break next week for Christmas. I need to take a break, and the team needs to take a break. We will resume back in 2022. But today, this morning, I wanted us to think about what are some of the things that we can be grateful for this morning. We went through a very challenging time in Klang Valley and some parts of Malaysia where over the weekend we had a huge catastrophe or probably one of the most devastating flood that we have seen so far, or personally I've seen so far in my life. But what are some of the things, and coming off from that journey, coming off from that experience, I'm not sure, and I wonder how many of us are affected by this catastrophe or this flood that is still having some damage that's not being sorted out yet. But based on some of these things that we all experienced and seen in the past weekend, what are some of the things that you can reflect and be grateful for this morning? Please put it in the chat box. What are some of the things that you can be grateful for this morning? Please put it in the chat box. Anyone? I know there are only 32 of us here today because of probably a lot of us are still going through certain challenges, or we are traveling or supporting or helping other people outside there. But what are some of the things that we all can be grateful for this morning? Put it in the chat box here, please. Grateful my mom's house not affected by flood. Awesome. What else, guys? Thank you for sharing here. What else? What are some of the things that you can be grateful for this morning? Anyone? Rayat, Jaga Rayat. Yeah, I saw so many nice pictures, so many moving moments that normal people just going out there to help normal people, right? And doing that right now. Grateful for sunshine, grateful you can visit your mom, grateful that you are in a safe space, safe place, grateful that we're not sitting on rooftops. Yeah, you're right. I'm grateful that I'm not trapped in the flood. Yeah, sunshine now. It's a lot of things to be grateful, not affected by the flood, that we still have internet, electricity. Some clients are not sleeping due to flood and no electricity. Grateful that we don't have typhoon. Yes, I echo that, William. I have friends in the Philippines who had family there in Cebu Island where the whole island was totally wiped out, right? So we are very grateful for that. Guys, what else? What else are we grateful for this morning? What else? The today's session is to really I wanted to have this session this morning just to share about, and this is before the flood because we didn't expect that to happen, right? And when we plan this, it's more of us talking about, how culture and how opportunity in our organization, or how can we take opportunity of culture, opportunity to help us to build our business. And I have a guest with me today, but I thought this morning before we start that session, I want us I wanted to ask everyone if you all could reach out to your colleagues, the people in your market centers. I know some people that are market center leadership have been reaching out to some people around us, and there were some people who were struggling and were trapped or not able to communicate or have some challenges because of this flood. I wanted to ask everyone before we begin, if you could reach out, if you know of anyone who are stuck in those areas, please reach out. Please reach out to them and let us know, let your market center leadership know who are trapped, who is in a difficult position, who needs help, who needs supplies. Please let your market center know. We are trying to see how we can support our agents that are in need right now. And we will definitely coordinate certain things and want you to be part of it and want to open the opportunity for you to be part of this to support those people in need. I know over the weekend, there were some pictures of some people's houses, of our agents' houses. I know a few of them has flooded and has flooded in Klang, in Shah Alam, some parts of Puchong, KL. So please do reach out to the people around you to check on them, and let your market center leadership know that if they're in trouble, please let us know so that we can see how we can offer to help. I want us all to do that small part this morning, as we finish this session, as we think about the people around. Talk to 5-10 people around you who are in that location, right? Especially those agents for our own market center. I want you to reach out to them to see how we can help them if they are in trouble right now or they're in situations that need support, right? So many people potentially need help right now. So I wanted to have that moment for us to live our culture into support one another during this challenging period, right? And for us who are grateful that we are not affected, this is our time to show up to see how can we help those who are affected. So I asked all of us this morning, go back to your market centers, go back to your colleagues in your market center, in your teams that you work with, or whoever that you engage with a co-agent with in our own organization. Please reach out to them so that we can know who are in help, who needs help, right? So let your market center leadership know we are trying to go from the market center level to support agents who are in need in this tough situation, tough season. So thank you for partnering with us. I want to express our gratitude for you who are about to do those things with us, right? So thank you so much. But today, as we talk about culture and opportunity, we had a guest here. His name is Ken Yeow from Market Center One. And I think I met Ken a few months ago, 5-6 months ago, when he was contemplating to consider to rejoin us. But I wanted him to share his story recently as what has happened to his business and what are some of the experiences that he have. And I wanted him to maybe this will kind of bring some hope and some light to people around us today. So good morning, Ken. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, morning, John. Morning,
yeah,
everyone.
So Ken, I remember I met you a few months ago, 5-6 months ago, maybe more than that. I can't recall, but
yeah.
But share with us a bit about yourself. What were you doing previously? What were some of the things that you've done? And yeah, tell us a story.
Yeah, sure. So I graduated in 2014 and I went into real estate. But back then I was in real estate development, business development. I wasn't in sales. Basically, I was studying land and then recommending land to the company to see whether the land should be developed by doing feasibility studies and all those kind of stuff. After that, of course, working in corporate, you don't make a lot of money. I decided to try out and pursue a career in sales. So in 2017, I joined Redfield Mont Kiara. I joined for a year, 2017 until 2018, only for 1 year, and I did really well then. I did really well, but I felt like I was lacking some challenge. So I decided to leave and then, try out businesses in a number of different industries, invested in a few different industries. Again, I decided to come back in this year. Sometime mid this year, I wanted to try. A lot of people were telling me, Ken, the market is not good. It's not as good as it was back in 2017. And I took that as a challenge. I really wanted to prove people wrong. I get that was my main motivation, why I also wanted to come back. So I spoke to John, I think about 5-6 months ago. I was contemplating to join a number of different agencies. Basically, I did a lot of research. I think I met with probably 10 different agency, leaders or whatever. At that time, I decided to join a different agency during MCO. So it was lockdown. There was a lockdown for 2 months. I couldn't work. Within that 2 months, I decided that agency's culture was not for me. I decided to join back Redfield. That's when I Googled and I found LCI Plus, met Tim, and I really like the culture. I like how the people here work, how professional you guys are, and I decided to join. So I've been in this industry, I would say a total of, back then in 2017, 1 year, and now another 2-3 months, so a total of 1 year and 1 year and 3 months. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing a very brief overview about your journey, right? But when you say you like the culture and all that, what does that mean to you? What does culture mean to you? And what are some of the experiences that you experience in culture that matters to you right now?
Culture is really important. I believe that, wherever you go, you can make money. There's a lot of opportunities out there wherever you go, basically. In whatever business you do, if you put your heart to it, if you keep improving and you keep learning from your mistakes, you're going to make a lot of money. The question is, are you going to make your money in a happy environment, in an environment that makes you happy and makes you feel satisfied? I feel that here because, of course, the team, they are really friendly. They feel more like friends rather than colleagues. We can talk about anything. The people here, again, like I said, are very professional. They are willing to listen, willing to improve. And I really like that about Redfield. Yeah.
Right. So let's fast forward. You've been here for, I think, 4-5 months, 3-4 months right now.
I think 3 months. I joined probably early October or somewhere around there. I can't really remember also. Or
Right.
late September. Yeah, early October, somewhere around October, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So about 3 months being here in this business, what happened to your business right now? Share with us what are some of the things that's happening in your business right now that is really
Right.
exciting that we want to talk about this morning.
Right. So the first couple of weeks when I joined in October, of course, it was just understanding the processes, how this company works, studying the projects that I'm supposed to sell, relearning a lot of things, learning new stuff because things have changed since 2017. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and eventually the sales came. Within 1.5 months, I managed to close 10 sales, 10 or 11, worth about 16 million plus. And so far I've signed about 7 already. Worth 10 million, 10 or 11 million. I've signed the SPA already. Of course, the past couple of weeks I've been a bit busy, so I haven't managed to close. But once I'm back to work, yeah, of course the sales will start coming in again.
Right.
Yes.
So let me just recap. In the past,
Yep.
5 to 6 weeks,
Yes.
you secured about 11 bookings worth 16 million.
Yeah.
Signed 7 of them about 10 million.
Yeah.
That's if I do my math correctly, if I look at the 2 to 2.5% average commission due to the agent, it's about 200,000. That's a lot of money, a lot of impact done in the past 6 weeks. What happened, man? What steroids did you take that helped you drive this kind of volume? What was it that, like, I think all of us want to know what happened that you are able to drive that kind of volume in that short period of time?
Right. So for me, if I don't see improvement in myself, I feel very stressed and I cannot rest. So back in 2017, I was selling a post-launch project and the sales were really slow. But I used to close at least 3 units a week on average, every 3 units a week without fail. So when I came back this time around, and if I weren't closing every week, at least 1 or 2 units every week, I will feel like I'm a failure because it means that I've regressed from what I could previously do, that I'm not better than what I used to be. That was my main motivation. I couldn't take myself seeing that I became less productive than I was back then in 2017. So that was my main driver, yes. So I just set the goal. I told myself that if I wanted to join this industry, it's only worth my time if I make at least 500,000 to 1 million ringgit. Otherwise, it's not worth my time. So when I set that goal, of course, I'll make sure that I work towards it and I take the steps to hit the target. And that's what drive me to hit the target. Yeah.
Right. What are some of the activities that you did that gave you the amount of bookings? Like, what did you do, man?
Right.
Like 6 weeks, 10, 11 bookings. It's not an easy feat, especially you're selling products that's, I think, average price point about 1.5 million and above.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And in this season, right, in this challenging market season, right, what were the activities that you were doing, man?
Right. So I did a lot of social media marketing. I do not have a good network in real estate. I did not keep in touch with my previous buyers because I never knew I would come back into the real estate market. So all these buyers were new people. I had to find them from somewhere, and most of it came from social media marketing. Most of it came from WhatsApp blasting, social media marketing, this sorts of stuff. And eventually, if you consistently do it, of course, you meet more people and the sales will naturally come in.
Yeah. Share with us, like, when you talk about social media marketing, what does that mean? Do you do content? Do you do Facebook ads? What is it that you do in social media marketing that's able to generate that kind of leads?
I do Facebook ads, but I spend a lot of time trying to perfect my ads. I'm not an ad person, and frankly speaking, I'm not an administrative person, so I mostly outsource. I outsource quite a lot of my work when it comes to video production and those kind of stuff. So I outsource them, and then I just advertise on Facebook. And I just get the sales from there. That's correct.
Right. And how many leads do you receive on a weekly basis?
So far I've stopped my ad because I can't follow up over the past couple of weeks. I've been a bit busy, but I would say back then I would get maybe 2 or 3 leads a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so about 20 leads a week, somewhere around there.
Right. And what is that
or higher.
What is that? What is that? When the leads come in, right? How do you start the conversation? Do you have a follow-up script? Do you
Right.
present? What do you do with all those? I think all of us are dying to hear because
Yeah.
that is very I don't know about you guys. If you're dying to
Yeah.
hear, please press 1 because I want to know because it's not easy, right? To think about having that kind of booking, especially when you are off the market for so many years, right? And you're coming back in now. What do you do when the leads come in? What happened?
Right. So I text my leads or sometimes I call them, but I realize that most agents they give up after the first or second follow-up, the first or second call or text. For me, I don't. I text them 6 times, 10 times until they reply me. Now I've met a few people who never replied me, but after the 10th as a WhatsApp message or the 10th call, they'll finally answer me and then say, hey, okay, I want to come and have a look. And then that's when I come and close. Right. Because most agents are focused on getting quality leads. You know, they think it's all about quality. You can only close quality people. I don't believe in that. I believe that if you've got very good sales skills, you can close anyone. You can meet someone on the street, you can stop them, and then you can sell them a property, making them think that they need a property in their life. And I believe strongly about that. Now, most people who don't reply, most agents would say they're not quality. I keep following up until they reply and I convince them that they need a property.
Right.
Yes.
What's that mindset there, man? Because you are right. Because that, and I think this is the myth of quality leads.
Yep.
I don't believe there's quality leads. I only believe there's quality agents or quality follow-up. I believe in that because there's a reason why I click. Now, there could be mistakes. I'm sure there's some that I didn't register. It's a mistake. I accidentally play my phone or whatever. They could be those cases, right? Or some people are playing around the ads. There are also those cases. But what's in your mindset for you to think like that I will follow up until someone say no to me? Has someone said no to you?
Oh yes, definitely. But my closing ratio is very high. And my mindset is because, you know, I strongly believe that in the sales business, the number one skill that we must have is sales skills. Most agents focus only on the marketing skills, getting the good quality leads and all that. I'm not saying marketing is not important. They both work hand in hand and they're both very important, marketing and sales. But it's not only about generating the leads, it's also about learning how to close the leads. Now you can imagine an agent who's got 10 appointments but only managed to close 1. So he's got a closing ratio of 10%, or you can imagine an agent with a 60-70% closing ratio. That means you'll earn 6 or 7 times more than the average agent. And I put a lot of effort into sales skills. Yeah.
Right. What are some of the things that you do that you think are the enhancement to your sales skill that can derive that kind of ratio of closing that you're having right now?
You know, most humans are driven by emotion. No matter who we are or what we are, you know, even if we are CEO, even if we're business owners, even business owners or CEOs are driven by emotion. Correct? They love their family. They think about their family, their friends. When most people buy properties, they don't buy property because they like that specific property, but they buy that property because there's an underlying emotion. Is it because security? They like the security, they want their family to feel safe, or is it because they want to see their children succeed? They want to send their children overseas to Australia to study. That's the reason why they want to buy a property now to invest, so that in the future their children can go overseas to study. What is that underlying emotion? You guys have to find that out. And when you manage to find out, you can say things that touches the person's heart and will lead them to take action.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I understand from you right now is that you go in and you ask a lot of questions.
Oh yes, definitely. And I speak to my clients like their friends. Like after 10 minutes of meeting, we're probably friends already.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, we feel comfortable with each other.
Right. Yeah. So it's not about sending the right message, right? It's about getting in front of them first.
Yeah, getting in front of them, and the way you present yourself, you've got to be very comfortable. You've got to feel comfortable with them. I think of it this way. I talk to them like I'm talking to a family member. You know, that way I feel like there's nothing holding me back. I advise them like how I would advise my family members, and they can feel the same too. They can feel the same. That's how they connect to me, and that's why trust me and they
Right.
buy from me. Yep.
So you don't sell the property first. You go out there, you get in front. The property is an opportunity to get in front of them,
Yep.
first, find out what they're looking for, why they want to do this.
Yep.
That's the, I'm assuming that's the process. Now, what is the time cycle from you getting a lead to having appointments and then getting them to commit to something? What's that time frame that you set right now based on the past 1.5 months?
Right. I would say probably a couple of weeks. From me getting the lead, it can take me about 3 to 4 weeks to closing that person. The reason why is because, you know, Malaysians, they tend to slack a lot. so they'll say this weekend I'm busy, call me next week. And then next week they'll say they're busy again, call me next week. So that's what happens. And I just keep following up, until eventually they come. Whether or not they reply, I follow up with them also. Yeah.
Right. How do you systematically follow that? Because there are so many leads, you're getting 20 leads a week, right? How do you remember who is who and what is what?
Right. So there's a lot of course, tech helps you. Back then I had no tech. I had to use Excel sheets to follow up. But these days, of course, you guys got the Keller Williams app. It's really good also, but I use a different CRM. It's called Previa. Whatever you guys are comfortable with, it doesn't really matter. Just use whatever works. Yeah.
Right. So you're using a CRM to follow up with the clients. That means you note down, and then you have a reminder to call, text them whenever you are. You are not doing this by you are not doing this trusting your memory, like you're using technology to support your business.
Yes, that's correct. Now I don't really have a fixed schedule, because sometimes the tech will remind me to, you know, when I'm on the road, just follow up today or what. I make it a habit to follow up with my clients, you know, at a specific time. It can be every night, it can be every evening, whatever works. Yes.
Right. So it's based on whenever you're reminded. So there is a system that you're putting in place to remind you to call them or text them, right?
Yep. That's correct.
Right. And you call and text them, is there specific scripts that you use, or it's just you following up from the last conversation?
Right. I use specific scripts. So how I work is, I follow up with them, and then I send them a next message, and then I'll send them a message until they reply me. And I draft the message every time. Before I want to send them something, I'll draft a new message. I'll just think of something out of the blue, and then I'll just send it to them. Which message works best, I do not know, because I do not have the data to prove that. Our data is too limited, you know, and too many different factors are involved for me to find that data. You can't find reliable data with 300, you know, with 200 or 300 leads. You need hundreds of thousands of leads to know what sort of message works and what doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
So
what would be an example of a message that you send? Just give us an example of what, like, a message that you send out.
So the first time, usually I will send features of the property, and I don't hold anything back. I show them everything. I show them so that they have no reason not to answer me. You know, they won't. I just show them everything, and then the next message I'll follow up a simple message, maybe like any updates on your end, and then I'll follow up again. Did you manage to go through? And then I'll follow up again, you know, something like that. And maybe by the 5th time they never reply, I'll send a similar message again, the features of the property, and then I'll ask for updates. I'll ask for updates until they reply me, and eventually most of them will reply after you keep following up, after you keep sending them WhatsApp messages or you call them. Whatever works, whatever you feel comfortable with. These days, I don't really like calling. I personally feel annoyed when people call me. So I prefer dropping WhatsApp messages, but again, I know calling works also. So
so you choose to use text, and I think it's up to you which one you feel comfortable doing. Calling or texting is really up to you. And you basically, you have a flow, right? Your goal is to send them an information, ask for update, send them an information, ask for update. That's why I'm understanding the way your train of thoughts. And you kind of have all these templates ready, and then you just use the same methodology to follow with all these leads. Now, at one point in time, how many leads will you be following up with, like, on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I would say maybe 100 leads. I would drop them WhatsApp messages. If I would be calling, you know, you can't call that many people. So you could only call, you know, maybe 10, 15 people.
So
Yeah,
so
depends, yeah.
you are WhatsApping 100 people a day.
Yes.
How long
Back
do you
then
do it?
when I was working.
How long do you spend doing this?
I would say it could take me around 30 minutes to WhatsApp these 100 people, and then I reply because I work on my phone and on my laptop at the same time. So I can WhatsApp with one hand, and then I can reply on WhatsApp Messenger on my laptop.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're doing like two things at the same time like this.
Yes, that's correct. Because not everyone will reply. Yeah, not everyone replies. So I can WhatsApp 100 people and maybe 10, 20 people will reply, you know? Yeah.
Right. But
Yes.
do you use the same script and you just forward to everyone, or you have different for everybody?
No, I use the same script. I follow the manufacturing process. You know, if you guys study Henry Ford, and if you see how Henry Ford managed to make the Ford Motors company very successful, he made each manufacturing line focus on a specific process, and I do the same. It increases productivity a lot. So if I were to focus on texting, I would send all the same messages to all these people. I wouldn't waste time, drafting a different message for everyone, because that would take too much time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And these are the people that they're probably not so warm, they're mostly cold. They eventually become warm once they start responding to you.
That's correct. Every single lead I have is cold.
Right. So when you get 100, well, I'm just curious here now. I'm getting very curious now. If you put in 100 messages that day, right? How many responses normally do you get?
I don't have the exact figures. I would say maybe 10 or 20, and 10 or 20, and I would say maybe 15 would be not interested, or not this week, maybe next week, and maybe 5 would say, okay, I want to come, I want to have a look. So when and it compounds, so let's say you do this week 100, and 5 say, okay, I want to come next week. Right, then maybe this week you don't have any appointments, but next week you've got 5 appointments now, and then next week you do another 100, so you've got another 5, so in total you've got 10 appointments.
Right.
So it compounds, because if you try and set the appointment this week, it doesn't mean they'll come this week. They might come next week.
Correct.
Yeah, so the numbers will keep increasing. Yes.
So you just have to get into that line, right? You just have to get into that production line, like how you imagine production line. And what Joanne says is true. It's a volume game, right? It's a contact sport. I think real estate sales business, or any sales business, right? The number one thing is a contact sport. It's not, the skills will come when you do it very frequent, when you do it very, very consistently. And so I can imagine Ken, one hand left. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
So say his phone is on the left hand, and his laptop is like this, and he's doing this, and he's replying this, and the more he does, the more you get better at it. And is this something you focus on a daily basis? Like, do you do this on a daily basis, that 1 hour just to do this alone?
No, I should, but the people who know me know that I focus on many things. I don't just do real estate. So I try and learn, but I should, because if I were to do it every single day for an hour, I think my sales now would probably be double. I would probably would have hit much more than I've already hit.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So based on your observation, your understanding, why do some people struggle with following through this? And it's not complicated. What you're doing, it sounds to me not very complicated.
No.
It's actually quite straightforward, quite simple, but yet many people struggle. Why do you think many people struggle? I think
most people struggle because most people tend to blame external factors. So when I came back in this industry after a 3-4 year hiatus, I met with some agency owners, I met with some leaders, and a lot of them tell me, Ken, you can't do what you've done before already, because the market is horrible now. It's changed, times have changed. Things are not like what they used to be. And the minute you've got that mindset, that it's not your fault and it's due to external factors, that is when you've given up already. That is when you won't improve, and that is when you won't find new ways to close. So for me, I've always blamed myself. If I don't perform, if I don't be number one or the top agent or whatever, I always tend to think, okay, this is my fault. It's not external factors because someone else is closing. If you look at the numbers, properties are still being transacted. If it's not being transacted by you, it's being transacted by someone else. How do you be that someone? You find your ways to become that someone. Yeah, and it all boils down to the mindset, I believe. Yes, and habits also.
Right. What do you do to remind yourself of this? Because it's quite easy. Right. I'm sure there are certain days that you don't get the best response. I'm sure there are certain days you don't get the best outcome that you think you should be getting. What do you do to remind yourself of what you just said just now?
What do I do? I just look at the number one person. I just look at the top performers and I see if these people can do it, why can't I do it? You know, am I less smarter than them? I don't think so. Less hardworking, maybe. You know, maybe my attitude not so good, maybe. So if you want to be a top performer, you just look to the top performers, you emulate what they're doing, you do the exact same thing, and you improve from their mistakes. Whatever you see them doing wrong, you improve. And easily, if you keep doing the same thing, if you've got the same habits, naturally, you're gonna have the same results also. There's no reason why you wouldn't have the same results if you're doing the exact same thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. So it's important to model after something or someone. To look at those who are successful at a very high level. How do you model after them? And how do you learn the things and how do you improve from the setbacks that they have? I like that. That's a very good point. Now, there's a question from the chat box. What's the new way to close? Since 5 years ago, you know, things are different. Are things really different from the time you left when you were closing 3 transactions a week and now you are doing 11 or 10 in 6 weeks, right? What are the difference that you have experienced so far?
The differences is now I incorporate a lot of tech. Back then I used to use Excel. I wasn't very efficient, you know. I would text one by one, copy and paste my message. Now I use a lot of tech, so it saves me a lot of time. But new ways to close, I don't think things have changed much. You know, humans are still driven by emotion. Humans still want safety. They still want happiness for their family, for themselves, or they want wealth. They want a nice place to stay. Humans are still driven by that. So when it comes to sales skills, it hasn't changed much. When it comes to following up, yes, I've incorporated tech. I think tech is very important. It saves you a lot of time if you can use technology, whether it's the Keller Williams CRM or any other CRM you think that is more suitable for you, just go ahead. It would be
why do you think that's important? Why do you think that using and I have this argument with many agents today, and they say that, you know, technology is not critical and crucial right now. But why do you say that using a CRM or using a technology to manage my database or manage my leads right now, it's even more important than when you were starting last time? Why do you think that's important?
Right. You imagine how far humans have gone, how far human civilization has gone. Imagine payment systems, for example. Back then, we all had to use cash. Today, we can use Touch and Go, Grab. We can use our credit cards. Imagine without tech, how far behind we will be. You know, imagine if we don't have Maybank to you or online banking and those kind of stuff. We are only as productive as we are today because of tech. Now, if you've got no CRM, you can spend 2-3 hours, 4-5 hours trying to follow up your leads, getting confused. You have to go on your Excel and your computer and write down, you know, who is this person, what does he want, and all that. But if you've got CRM, you don't have to do that. Your 5 hours of work can be cut down into 1 hour. It can be cut down into 1 hour. And the extra 4 hours, you can do other things. You can start a new business, or you can focus more. You can work even harder, and then that will, you know, 2 times your sales. It's all about being efficient. If you've got an efficient way to do things, why not choose it? Why choose an inefficient way? There's no loss for you anyway. The only loss you have to do is maybe take the first couple of weeks getting used to it and learning how to use it. That is the only loss. And after that, you just see the benefits instantaneously.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, is how do you stay ahead, right? Because I have this argument in my head, and you have just sort of confirmed it with me and affirmed my thoughts that if you take an agent who has a solid CRM, who manages database very well, versus an agent who's doing things manually, through time and very fast time, this guy is going to beat this guy in the market.
Yep.
Right.
That's correct.
So, and I think majority of real estate agents today, majority of them do not use CRM to manage their database. Right. And the guys that's doing it eventually in a short period of time will overtake the rest because they now have efficiently talking to many people versus this talking to that few people only. So basically, you talk to more people in a shorter period of time, you increase your chances to get more transactions. Is that right? Does that make sense? Would that be a good, fair statement?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Joanne is asking, it's not about managing database and tools that have changed, but the people's buying behavior is pretty much the same.
Yeah, people's buying behavior is pretty much the same. Of course, people now are a bit more skeptical. You've got a lot of projects, so you've got to find ways to make your project stand out, to make them believe that your project is the best. For me, I show confidence when I pitch. That's why my clients are also confident in the project. I don't oversell. If you see most agents when they counter, let's say the client says, this location is not good, they'll find ways to counter. For me, I'll say, I agree with you. We're not good in this, but I'll tell you why we're good. I'll show them the other factors that makes our project beat other projects. Yes.
Right. So do not have an argument with the client, but understand where they're coming from and show them the best you can about that particular product that may best serve them for their needs.
Yes. And different. Yeah. Different clients, of course, they work differently. Some clients are okay with being disagreed. Some clients don't like being disagreed with. Of course, it's your job to find out what sort of person you're dealing with, and then to tailor your pitch and how you talk to them according to their character. But most of the time, I do not disagree with my clients. I tell them I agree. We're not good in this, but I'll tell you why we're better than the others. Yeah.
Right. If their disagreement makes sense, I mean, if their facts make sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and let's go back into the world of culture in terms of your team that you are in. Now you're selling the project in LCI Plus and all that. Share with us, what's the difference in working in a team and being a solo agent?
Working in a team, you don't feel so lonely. And of course, working in a team, they're really nice people. Team Z, Farah, TY, Gerald, a lot of them. They're all really nice people. And sometimes you don't only talk about properties, you talk about other stuff. It can be other businesses, stuff like that. And it just makes me feel happier to work here. Of course, there are other agencies that try to offer me, bigger positions and all that. But I really put importance in the culture. Culture was really important to me, and it wasn't only about the money. It was also about, working in a nice place that makes you feel happy with your achievements and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And
do you ever have any challenges in adjusting to the culture or to adjust to the people around you that you're trying to work, because you are away from the business for many years?
Right.
Not many years, I mean 3-4 years.
Right.
And you are coming back here, and then you are doing multiple businesses before coming back here.
Right.
What were some of those challenges that you have gone through, if there's any?
Challenges adopting to the culture, you mean?
Yes, correct.
Assimilating the culture.
Right.
Right. Before I joined, I wouldn't say I interviewed. What do you call it? I researched maybe like 10 different agencies. And I make sure that I found the right agency with the right culture before I joined. So when I joined LCI, I didn't have to assimilate much. I already clicked with them on the first day. Because, and that's due to my research, because I made sure that I spoke to the right people, and I liked how my the team was, and only I joined.
Right.
So there wasn't much assimilation needed from my side. Yeah.
Right. What were some of the challenges that you went through to kickstart the journey back again to real estate?
Right, to kickstart the journey back into real estate. Of course, times have changed. I had to learn a lot. I have no network again because it's been 4 years. So I had to really learn the products. I also forgot some of my knowledge already. I had to learn new ways of advertising. Advertising has become more competitive than it was. I had to improve on that. I had to find better content. And all these took a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me to learn, to pick up. And eventually, without giving up, if you keep improving, and if you improve 1% every day, even just 1% every day, that means, in 100 days, you would have improved 100%. And that is when the sales came in. Basically, the challenges was just learning how things have learning how things have changed, how I can use tech to help me, how people are a bit more skeptical, and how there's more projects these days. Yeah, that would be the main challenge. Yes.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of unlearning and learning, right? Meaning you have to unlearn the things that you thought you knew, which you knew back then that works and now it doesn't work. How do you adjust to that mindset that I have to unlearn and be more open to learn new things right now?
Right. To continuously improve, we have to keep our mind has to be very malleable. It has to change. It has to be very fluid. We have to learn new things. If we study a bit about history, human civilization has only come so far because of people who decide to innovate and to change what they've previously been doing. And you can only improve and you can only come up on top if you continuously improve and compete with the person who is better than you. When you keep competing with the person who's better than you, eventually you will see the results. Yeah, and that's just the basic premise of my mindset. I think that's very, very important. Yeah.
So competition is important. What I'm saying is you got to compete with the best in order for you to be the best.
Yes, definitely.
And that is where I think most people struggle, because most people do not want to compete.
Yep.
There are a lot of people who don't want to compete, but what motivates you to compete, and how do you stay in that drive to keep on competing with others so that eventually you're competing with yourself as well, right? So what's that mindset, man, to keep in that competitive mode? Because I argue today, and I think in a tough market in the next 2 to 3 years, if agents who do not compete will have a risk of losing their market share. How do you maintain that competitive mindset?
Right. For me, it's always about competing with myself, like you said. Of course, I emulate the best people, but I put in an effort to continuously improve. So every day I'm learning something new. It might not be something in real estate. It could be something in a different industry, but I have to learn something new every single day, whether it's about business or philosophy. It can be anything. So if you continuously have that habit of learning new things and improving, naturally, you're just competing with yourself. And I make sure I have that, because I'm the kind of person that I feel very stressed if I don't see progress in my life. So I can tell you one thing, if I'm a top performer, let's say I'm a top performer and I continue doing it for the next 2-3 years and I got a lot of commission coming in, I still won't be happy, because I feel like I'm doing routine work and I'm not improving. There always has to be a next step, and that is my mindset. Of course, not everyone is like that, because I notice a lot of people are contented, of course, and there's nothing wrong with it. Some people are happy with what they have. But if you can motivate yourself, if you can change your habits to continuously improve, naturally you see more results and you'll be happy with the results. If you can choose to have good results compared to not having any results, I would always choose to have good results.
Right. And it's all about, and that's your choice. Nothing wrong. It's just your choice. I don't think there's right and wrong, and I agree with you. It's a choice of me wanting to do better and become better every day. And the stress that I go through for not being better, it's again the choice for myself to want to have that stress, right? So it's your choice. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. There's a question here. You mentioned that real estate is not all that you do. You have other gigs going on. Can you show why after 4 years you choose to come back to real estate? That was a good question.
Right. Other gigs, the money is good. But I've always had passion in real estate, and I get excited when I see things getting built. I don't know why. I've had this since I was young. When I drove to construction sites, I like to see all these bungalows being built. So my main intention to come back is to eventually go into property development.
Right.
To go into property development. It can be a small project, a few houses, as long as I develop and I do something I like. But I'll be frank with you also. Small-time developers, a lot of them don't make as much money as top-performing property agents. So for me, it's not only about the money, it's also about doing what I like. But I can tell you one thing, if you were to be a top property agent, you probably make more money than a small-time property developer.
You're absolutely right.
You would. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And I think you have less risk.
Yep. Less risk.
Less stress and a better life, better quality of life. Trust me. Yes, that's the reality. So thank you for sharing. Guys, are you learning something from Ken today? I mean, I'm so charged up and so inspired by Ken and have a lot of big aha moments. But if you are learning something, please put in the chat box. What are some of the ahas that you're getting from him right now as you are talking and as we're having this conversation? What are some of the things that you have learned, or if there are any questions, any burning questions that you want to ask him, so that it will help you to answer some of your real estate journeys right now? Please put them in the chat box. So Ken, for you, right? Yeah, I like that. John says Ken has a business mindset, not a sales agent mindset.
Yes, that's
It's
correct.
important. You have to think like a business person, not like a salesperson. And all of us, I would say, we start off as a salesperson, and that's okay. It's okay. But as he grows, as we grow into our business, we should think like a business mindset. There's a question for you, Ken. Privy. I know that's the CRM that you're using, right? What else? What other questions that you all have? That's able to ask Ken that he can help you. For all of us in Keller Williams, you have KW Command as a CRM as well, that you now have that mobile application that you can use. Right. Cool. Anyone got any questions, any thoughts, any mindset, things that came to you as a light bulb today? Share it in the chat box. Ken, moving forward, what's next for you, man? I mean, after 15, 10, 12, 10 million, 16 million in 3 months, what you did in 3 months is, 2 months is what people normally do in 1 year, generally in the average. I see many agents production. What's next for you, man?
I think I would continue doing it maybe for another 6 months or 1 year. And my passion is actually in recruiting and training. So back then I was in real estate. I was only doing sales for about 3 months, and most of my income came from overriding. A huge bulk of my income came from overriding. So I would see that maybe in, after the next 6 months, I might focus on growing a team, or maybe recruiting.
Right. And that's the journey when you go to. Why do you think that's the why do you choose to potentially go that direction?
Like Joanne said, I've got a business mindset. I'm not exactly a salesperson. I'll be frank with you also. I don't like selling. I just happen to be good at it. I don't like, but I don't like selling. Yeah. So I prefer. Of course, with my previous experience when I was managing the team and the company back then, the results were really good. I really like what I was doing. Of course, when you start managing a team initially, your income will be lesser than what you're doing as a personal sales agent, because of course, when you close a lot, you make much more money as compared to overriding. But I don't look so much more at the money. I also look at what I enjoy doing. So that would be my next step, probably. Right. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Any more questions? Any more burning questions for Ken? As we come almost to the end of the session this morning, anyone got any more questions? There's a question from Lois, and I answer on the chat box. Where's the 100 leads per day coming from? I'm saying it's not 100 leads per day. I think it's 20 leads per day, 20 leads per week. But there's 100 people that you're following up. It's all from your Facebook marketing. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, it comes from Facebook. Yeah, mostly Facebook. No, I'm not married.
No, not married. Okay. I don't know why I'm asking that kind of question, but it's okay. Right.
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts about moving forward in next year? Like in your journey next year, right? What are some of the things that you think you will want to focus on to improve, so that you are prepared for next year?
Whatever I'm doing right now, I want to improve some more. It could be sales skills, generating leads. It could be marketing, advertising. Whatever I can improve on, I would continuously improve. There's nothing in particular I'm looking to improve, but every day I'm learning and improving in whatever I do. Like, I can set an ad up today, but next week my ad will be better than this week.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing, just every single day. I don't have an actionable plan. It's just the habit of wanting and needing to improve, and naturally that will lead to results.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe let me rephrase my question.
Yeah.
If there's one magic pill that you can take, and if you take this pill, you are able to change one thing in your business today, what would that be?
One magic pill. I would the cost per lead. Dropping the cost per lead. That would be very important. Yes. Yeah.
Right. You will manage the cost per lead so that you have more profits after minusing your cost.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right. Cool, man. Thank you so much for taking the time off your business to share with us your story and your journey. I think it's inspired. How many of you are inspired right now? Okay, Ken is making you feel stressed and demotivated. There's a huge difference between a top producing agent and a typical rent. That's absolutely right. I believe that. So Ken, stay on for a while before we come to some conclusion from you. But guys, can I have the point? Marcus or virtual support, can I have the announcements, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm listening right now as an agent that I struggle with thinking like what you just said in competition, and I'm struggling with following up, and I'm always having this mindset about having quality leads versus quality follow-up. I think it's the battle between quality leads and quality follow-up. What should I do and how should I start? What's your advice?
If you're the kind of person that you get trouble getting motivated, then don't rely on motivation, rely on habits. So rely on habits, on changing your habits, and it can take maybe 30, 40 days to change your habits. But the minute you start changing your habits, naturally, you don't have to motivate yourself. You will keep doing the same thing every day. Maybe today, it's hard to convince yourself that you need to have quality follow-up. But if you do it every day on a consistent basis for a month, maybe you wouldn't have issues learning how to follow up anymore. If you can't motivate yourself, focus on changing your habits. And changing your habits is not very hard. You only need to decide today, hey, I wanna live healthily, I want to start exercising, for example. And then you start doing it for 1 week, for 2 weeks, and naturally you don't have to motivate yourself to do it anymore. So if you wanna motivate yourself to follow up consistently with your buyers, start by changing your habits. Yes. Right. That's my biggest advice, and change your mindset also.
Yeah. Change your habits, and then it will change your behavior. The behavior will change the way you think, and the way you think will then change the way your mindset is. Because I think I like it so much, but behavior and habits are very important in a trademark of a successful person.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay, awesome, man. Ken, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Keep on doing what you're doing. Hopefully you will triple up in the next 6 months from what you have done so far. And you and I need to talk a bit more about how we can support you on that on the technology side, because I think there are a lot of exciting things coming on as we move forward. So thank you so much, Ken, for inspiring us and sharing with us today. Thank you so much for not holding anything back. Take care, guys. For the rest of you, have a blessed Christmas, a blessed New Year. We will see you in the next session. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Take care.